My name is Pinakin Patel. Since the last 20 years, I live in this little village called Alibaug outside Mumbai. Growing up was a lot of fun, because the world was simpler. So, with very few things, one felt privileged and special. We were just so happy, mainly playing outdoor games with friends who either lived in the building or close by, interacted with cousins, traveled in groups together. So, therefore, also the parents were much freer in our days, where there would be intellectuals who came to the house and we were introduced to them and asked to keep our mouths shut to absorb their sort of views. So it was privileged in that sense, and one had the time and a sort of environment to absorb a lot of things. I'm not a qualified architect. I'm self-taught, like I said, and I think it was running in the blood because, for one of my childhood birthdays, my grandfather decided to gift me a piece of land in a marshy area, which is today called Juhu and Ville Parle scheme outside in the suburbs of Mumbai. And when he took me to that land, and I said, how big is it? And he had a walking stick which was exactly a meter long. So he kept flipping that stick all around and measured the land and told me how much it was. And that approach has kept me still kind of making even the most complex, I would say, townships on graph paper using my pencil or my rubber, or just ordinary things, taking you to more complicated spaces. Actually, it was just not recognizing your swadharma, or your own, not religion, but your own predisposition. Because since the family was involved in industry, and everybody in the house was talking that chemicals are going to be, petrochemicals are going to be the future. And so I had this complex about confirming with the rest of the males in the house and saying that, yeah, I'm going to do chemical engineering or blah blah, and join everyone. But once I went to work, I realized that I had become a systematic liar, and that uh, I was beginning to feel inadequate, because I wasn't really able to get up in the morning and go to work with a smile on my face. I found out that it was more to do with design and homes and interiors. And I started experimenting with those things. And I honestly spoke to everybody in the boardroom and said, sorry, I'm quitting because I wasn't made for this. A part of a Jesuit school, and therefore the education was almost like a convent. We had sort of robed Catholic priests as our principals, and teaching us. And it was an experimental school, and the teachers lived above the school, and they were trained there while they were teaching us. So that entire schooling was experimental. And funnily enough, the primary school was completely spiritual and philosophical. So my primary school was run by Dr. Annie Besant, who founded the Theosophical Society, and was also perhaps related to J. Krishnamurti. And So between the spiritual background in the school and theosophical environment turning into an international sort of Catholic perspective was quite empowering. I am somebody who knows what he's doing. He's established. He's right out there. He's sort of rich. He's a media face. I mean, and I feel that even if those things have happened somewhere on the sidelines, at heart, I'm as playful a child I was when I was in any of those schools that we described. And therefore, when they meet me, they are bewildered. They go by my age and say he's almost 70. And so when you meet him, they're searching for that power image. And then, they see me in me. So that's a letdown. I think it's an extremely difficult thing to be self educated. But if you're blessed and if you kind of find your own space, then each step empowers you to take the next one and the next one. So there is a continuous gradual build up that seems to complement what you've learned the previous week, the previous month, the previous decade. Power clothing? I never heard of power clothing. Look at this. I mean, I'm in shorts. My new life in Alibaug is so good that every day is a Sunday. So, I pretty much do the same thing every day without realizing that it's a Monday morning or it's a Saturday night. No, I'm not at all nostalgic, romantic, reminiscent. No, I'm so much into the moment now and excited about the future that I really don't want to relive anything. I think it's most evident now in the times that we are living in that just when I thought that, I had figured out life and I had figured out work and family and travel and save and invest in everything, a sort of unknown germ came and scared the shit out of me. Every single thing that I had taken for granted as a kind of uh, part of a jigsaw puzzle, which put together gave me the feeling that that was life, has fallen apart. So you just realize how frail and vulnerable your own evolution is, your role on this planet is. I can never work or have food on a table and chair. I need my body language. I need to cross my feet and sit cross-legged. Yes, the indulgence is a space. I can live on the floor without furniture, but it has to be a large room. The large room has to have a large garden, doesn't matter if it's not manicured, but the land should be big. My guru Dashrath Patel, who lived with me for 10 years in my house, and my association of him is of a robust man. When I think of one food item, I would think of well-cooked roti, wheat, substantial. The second person is my wife, Dolly. She herself is a fantastic cook. So what I associate her with food is a delicate sharbat that she makes, a delicate drink that she makes. I mean, the most non-food thing that she does, because that expresses her sense of refinement, her sense of balance, taste to such a rarefied degree that it doesn't even have to become a full dish. And the third person I sort of would talk about is my granddaughter Naira. And now she's the fun interpretation and connection to the world of food, because everything else, otherwise, by now you've been there, done it, tasted it all, traveled, internalized. But then when you see it from a child's perspective, it becomes something so different and so much fun. So with her, I kind of associate a dessert, something indulgent, something rich that you wouldn't think of on your own, but when made so lovingly by a child, you enjoy it. I've always eaten what you call sattvic food that is organically grown, freshly cooked at the time of your meal, and is light on your digestion, because that food converts itself to such energy that it's unbelievable. So a simple khichdi is my comfort food. So once when I was in a restaurant and I just couldn't quench my thirst, and I asked the waiter, I said, "Can you just get me water?" So he says, "Just water? Why don't you have beer? Have wine." I said, "I don't drink." Commune with nature. When you live with nature, you cannot help but remain grounded. It's FOMO. My reading glasses. Amit. Throw mama from the train. Never had a fabulous relation. Of not being able to sustain who work with me is when I'm by myself. 365 days, 24/7. Nothing. Dolly, my wife. Nature. I usually don't dream, but I have a feeling that whenever I've eaten too much rich food, or whatever, I'm feeling a little woozy, and then I go to sleep, I get the most ridiculous dreams. No, but I sing a lot, but not in the shower. I sing old Hindi movie songs. Oh yes, my guru Dashrath Patel was my mentor. He came into my life at a late age, and I missed that luxury of having a mentor at a young age when I was learning, because I was the first generation of independent India that was trying to find its way through creative pursuits. So there weren't too many people who could have come and even mentored me at that time. But later on in life, Dashrath mentored me, and I realized what mentoring meant. There was no need to be limited in geometry, because I think maybe because I was self-taught and I was scared to experiment, and also because I never started sketching freely. I used to try and get my design concept into work almost at the same time on a graph paper. So I always thought of square rooms and square buildings and rectangular shapes, and 90 degrees meeting each other. And I think he kind of educated me to the fact that you have to leave a little room for escape. So try not to resolve all the four corners. My own life, I tell you, it would become a 20-season serial on Netflix. Read. I don't read fiction so much. So at this moment, I'm going through all the archives on Vedanta, the philosophy of Vedanta. I love getting onto Instagram now, because it kind of allows me to catch up with similar minded people, not necessarily the ones who are part of my immediate physical circle. So um, that's kind of energizing. It's also simultaneously very informative because people are posting all kinds of things about their work. So it's a spot where I find a fabulous new light fitting, or I find a fabulous new textile. So Instagram, pani puri, nariyal pani, red, sketch day, water, kabaddi. I don't think I want to be remembered as a person. I want to be remembered in experience. I think that we're in a good situation where design is considered as something that comes from top to bottom. It's followed. It's imitated. So if, as a design community, if we could come together and find a way to improve life on this planet and put that across as a design plan rather than a philosophical or an existential plan or an ideology, I think we do a whole lot of service. Otherwise, if we just keep on creating extra products, fine, they'll be popular today, but they'll be out of sync tomorrow.